Good evening, everybody. So today is our guest, Amit Hiramat, a certified IT professional and currently working as an open source intelligence engineer to identify surface threat attacks for various organizations. He started his career with diploma in computer science engineering and did his master's in information security from Jain University. He has provided services for many major companies across India as a team. Independently, he has handled many projects of Abelet and is a Switzerland-based bank organization. So today he's here to speak to you and make you understand what is it to take IT as your career path based on his experience and knowledge as an IT professional. So on the behalf of the management of Shri Sai Coaching Classes, we welcome you, sir, and over to you.
Thank you, Prakruti. Hi, everyone. You already heard my introduction. So today I'll be talking about IT career. So you guys are at very young age and you guys have time to choose. So I would like to know how much you know about IT career and IT industry before I speak about it. So I would like to ask you a few things. So that it would help me better to understand you guys and help accordingly and make you understand what is an IT career, how is it to choosing it as your career path, and how will it benefit, whether are you the right candidate to be an IT guy, because many people I have seen, my friends itself, they take up IT because of their social influence or they see their relatives who are into IT, and later some will be happy, some are not happy, some will be interested in the subject, some will not be. So it's a very crucial decision that you have to do it, because now everything is related to IT. Either take it agriculture, take it banking sector, take anything, even the teachers. Without IT, everyone is dependent on IT basically. Are you guys understanding? Are you guys able to hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Okay, you can unmute if there is no noise in your background. You can unmute and you can talk casually. I'm not a lecturer or anything, so you don't have to be serious. You guys can relax. Okay, you guys can comment. You guys can ask anything, and it's fine. Okay, at any time, feel free to ask if you don't get it. Okay, so let me ask you, what comes to your mind when I say IT industry? Can you give any examples of IT companies? Anyone?
So Infosys.
Okay, Infosys. Then you can say anything. It can be any small, big, anything. If even there is a small company next to your house, you can say that. Be relaxed. You can say anything. Okay, Infosys. So we all know what Infosys does. So I'll not ask what it does. Okay, any other companies? Anyone? So everyone know only Infosys as an IT company.
Google.
Sorry, pardon?
Google.
Okay, Google. Yes, Google. Okay, one more IT company. Then
Raj.
okay, okay, fine. So you are able to distinguish what is IT company and other things. So one more question. Then I would like to know, what IT services do you use in your daily life? These questions are just to understand you guys. Okay, so feel free. Whatever you answer is not judged. This is only to understand you guys, so that if I understand you better, I can help you better. So that's the reason I want you guys to speak. Okay, don't hesitate. It can be a wrong answer, not a fine. Okay, it's fine. It's fine. Tell.
Google.
Okay, Google. Okay, Google services you are using. Google is a very big term. In Google, what services you are using, like payments and other? Chrome. Okay, Chrome service you are using.
Microsoft
Okay.
Teams.
Okay, Microsoft Teams you are using. Again,
Why
what
do you
service?
use Google Classroom?
Okay, Classroom.
Excel
Fine.
spreadsheets.
Okay, so you guys told me what are the IT services you are using. Now, can you tell me what are the IT products you are using?
phones,
Alexa.
Alexa, you're okay. I will not say whether it's right or wrong. I want to just know the answers. Okay, Alexa again. Next, anyone else?
phones,
Phone as an IT product? I don't think so. Is it an IT product? Okay.
Windows.
Okay, Windows. Fine. Anyone else? Okay, guys. So basically, why I asked whether you are using IT services and IT products. Basically, the first thing you need to distinguish is there are two different types when it comes to IT. One is services and one is product. Okay. So the best way to explain you guys what is the difference between service and product is consider a rental car service. You are renting a car just for a day, for an hour, or from point A to point B. So that's a service you are taking from that particular any dealer or anyone. When you are buying a car, you are buying it as a product. And it's a product, you have full benefits to do whatever with it. If you buy a car, then you can modify it. Am I right? You can modify the car, you can repaint, you can renovate everything. But when you take it as a service, you don't have such privileges. Service comes with certain time period. Am I right? So suppose, for example, you subscribe to your Amazon Prime service. You are benefiting it for 1 year. After 1 year, once the service expires, then next day delivery will be not available. Am I right? One day delivery, you lose it. Okay. So basically, I want you to understand difference between service and product, because IT companies are differentiated into two types. That is, one is service-based company and one is product-based company. Okay. So far, are you understanding me?
Yes,
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So if you understand this basic thing, what is service-based companies and what is product-based company, then you have a clear idea what you are looking at. Okay. So, okay, guys, that was the first thing I wanted to make clear. So once I need to know a few more things about you guys, that is like, how many of you like helping others? Not in terms of money or not in terms of doing others homework and all, in terms of like helping in technical issues, helping as a problem solving aspects. In that aspect, I'm asking, how many of you like such thing, helping others? Okay, one. Okay, cool. So yes. So you guys like helping others in terms of solving IT issues and other things. That's good. And how many of you like to work as a team member? Okay. Cool. Okay, nice. Okay. And are you a person who like to do most of the work by self rather than a team? Like work as an individual than work with others? Because there will be some people whose mindset will be like, I don't want to work with these persons. They work better when they are alone. There will be those category of people. Am I right? So how many of you like to work alone than as a team? None. Everyone wants to work as a team. It's good to know. Okay. And how many of you are expecting to get into a job and think like, okay, done. Now I have got job. Now I have to study no more. Nothing is there. Just do the job. How many of you have that kind of perspective towards the IT job? No one, right? Yes, that is good. Okay. So last but not least, choosing an IT should be your decision. It should not be your family or social decision. Okay. You should decide whether you should want to get into an IT career or not. Okay. I asked this question because you will understand once I go forward, you'll come to know why I was asking whether you like to help others, why you want to work as a team or as an individual, what you like to do. Okay. So thank you for helping me to know you guys. Okay. So once you are clear about these things, then let me tell you guys, how can you get into an IT career? So IT career is not like before. You need to get a degree and then get into a company. It's not like before. Now these days, if you have right skill set, if you have a certification, anyone can start right away. It doesn't matter whether you are 10th standard, 8th standard, or a PU, or a graduate, or a master's holder. It doesn't matter these days. If you have the right skill set, if you have a certificate to prove that you can do it, then you can start your work. There are many people who are doing freelancing and other things. So it's not restricted, I want to say. Okay. So, but if you are one of those who wants to complete the graduation and then get into an IT career, then today's guest lecturer will be helpful for you. Okay. Because you are looking for an guidance, like what is an IT? I asked you, how many IT companies do you know? You could name only few. Bangalore is a hub for IT companies. There are more than thousands of companies who are providing different services and different products. See, now the services and products come into role. Okay, so what qualification you need to get into an IT career? The basic qualification is any graduate. Okay, it doesn't mean if you want to just get an entry-level job into an IT, it doesn't matter whether you do BCA or computer science engineer, you can even be anything. But if you know how to use your computer and basic skills, then you are fit to get into an IT career. Okay, but it's the matter of what you want to be. If you have something in your mind that you want to be a software engineer or a cloud developer or a DevOps engineer or a security engineer, like that, if you have something in your mind, you want to be this in your IT professional, then you need to start being serious about it from now. Okay, you need to build up your skills. It's not because you guys are in 8th standard to 10th standard, I guess, here, and even PU students, some of you. So it's the right time. You guys can start exploring. I'll tell you how to start, where to start, and everything I'll tell you in the further this thing. So yes, do you have anything on your mind, like what you want to become or anything? Anyone? Have you thought that I want to be this as a professional, something? None of you have given a thought. Okay, not a problem. Oh, that's fine. Okay, so let me tell you when is the right time to get into IT, when you get into a graduation, and whether you want to pursue a post graduation or not. We'll discuss it in the later stage. Okay, the end of during the discussion time, you guys can ask me, you guys can remind me, so I will help you with that. So I want to show you an example. I'm saying a lot of career path and other things, how to choose, what are the types of careers open to you guys and other things. So I would like to share my screen. I would like to show you an image. Let me see whether I can. Host has disabled. Vikas, can you give me permission to share my screen?
I have given, Amit, you can check.
Okay. Okay, yes. Are you able to see the image?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay. See, when you plan to get into an IT, there are various paths to be taken. So since I wanted to know whether anyone have thought about getting into an IT and have already decided they want to be a programmer or anything, so that I could guide them. But none of you said you want to be this or you want to be that. So I'll be explaining this chart very generically. I hope you get it. So guys, yes, see, in today's what do you say, today's current situation, yeah, whatever the syllabus is teaching is not enough, guys. That is true. But also you cannot say that syllabus is outdated. You can say it's not that relevant, but it's not outdated, because that is the basics for each and everything, because the syllabus is created keeping in mind of even the rural students, where they don't have any facility like you guys have. They don't have internet, they don't have computers, they don't have electricity, but still the government needs to make a syllabus so that it's equal for each and everyone, and each and everyone have an opportunity to clear and pass the exam and get a certificate and get qualified. So this is the only intention of the government. But you guys have more privileges. You guys should not stop with what the syllabus is saying. You guys should explore what you guys can. Okay. So I would like to start here. See, these are the beginner's role. So beginner or novice, it means whether you don't have much skill set or less skill set, you guys always can start here. So there are certification like CompTIA IT Fundamentals, CompTIA A+, CCENT, Linux Essentials, MTA, CompTIA Cloud Essentials, CompTIA Fundamentals, and such other certifications. So these are the basic certifications, guys. I will share this one with you later, so you guys can Google what contents are available in these particular certifications. Okay, these all are beginner certifications. You don't need any skill set or anything. It is made in such a way that any new person who is able to understand English can get into this, learn, and get certified. It is so easy. Okay, so basically, if you are interested into any of these areas, you want to be an information security engineer or a network and cloud technology, you want to get into this thing, or you want to be an hardware services and infrastructure engineer, IT management and strategy, storage and data, web and mobile, software development, and other training related profession. See, this is how vast the industry is, and it is not limited to only these categories. These are some of the major categories, guys. Okay, so when you hear IT, it doesn't mean only software development. Okay, so when you let me tell you one true fact. Whenever you are doing your graduation, you come across teachers saying tomorrow you get into Microsoft, tomorrow you'll get a job into Google and other things. They'll give such examples. But the truth is, until and unless you are not clear about what you want to be, you'll not be able to make it to that those companies what they are saying. Because when a company looks to hire, they first see what skill set they are looking for. Those skill set are not available according to our syllabus. That is true. So when you complete a graduation, suppose you complete your BCA, the first entry level job you are eligible is desktop support, guys. Okay, even software development is little bit of an advanced level, but if that's what I'm saying, if you have a clear IT career path, if you have decided you want to be this, see here, software development, to get into this software development, what are the skill set you need? Okay, the first one is Microsoft Technology Associate certification. This is MTA. Or you need to know any of the programming knowledge. MTA is nothing but Microsoft related products. For example, Microsoft have their own database. They have their own developing applications and other things. Either you need to know those small applications, programming languages, and other things. Even if you don't know those things, it's not an issue. You can always start with even other things. There are things like Oracle, Java, other programming languages, Python, and other things. You need to have a basic skill set of programming. Then you need to look into these certifications. Once you look into these certifications, then you need to work on it. And once you acquire these certifications, then the next will be next you will be having different options, guys. See here, they are showing an option called DevOps engineer. So DevOps is one of the career where you do both of the things. One is you handle the platform, and another is you even develop the process. So they are integrating two separate things, and they are making it as it's a DevOps engineer role. I guess you may not understand what I am saying currently because these are a bit complicated for at this age. So what I want to say is start building your skill sets. Like if you are interested into programming, start learning any of the programming languages. If you are interested into an web application development, learn how to build an web application. These days you get just 1 hour tutorial in YouTube, how to start with WordPress. You can start with that. If you are into developing mobile applications, you can install Android Studio and start making small app applications and other things. So how many of you guys actually understand what are these roles? Can anyone say? Let me put up the screen, wait. Okay. So did anyone understand any of the roles over there, or it was completely new to you? It was completely new, or did anyone of you know any one of those roles, that what they do and how they do? Anyone has idea? No one have idea about these things, right?
Sir, I have learned HTML language, sir.
Okay.
The basics.
Okay, no problem. So yes, I'm thinking, how can I make it more simpler for you guys? So, okay, let me share the screen again so that I can try explaining in a different way. Are you able to see my screen?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Let me open one more instance of this image. Okay, guys, let me explain few of the certifications. Okay, let me take an example. Suppose you want to be an information security engineer. Okay, So that is here. Can you see? I want to at least one of you say yes, so that because I'm not able to see your faces, based on your voice, I'll be making assumption. Okay. So let's take security, information security as your career path. If you have decided now, you want to get into an information security, cyber security, and what you need to do. Okay. So if you're thinking that, then the first thing, what basic skill set you need to start with is CompTIA IT fundamentals. So CompTIA is a certification. Okay, it's a certification. They have made certain coursework. If they have their own materials, they'll provide them those materials. Once you learn, understand, and if you give exam, then you will be CompTIA certified. Okay, CompTIA IT this certification doesn't need much of your expert skills. These are basic skills to handle an operating system, different operating system like Linux, Windows, and how to configure, how to set it, and everything. Basically, it's completely fundamentals, guys. So you can start with this. So once you get this as your certification, then the next thing you can work on is CompTIA A+. A+ is nothing but your overall device configuration and operating system configurations. It revolves around those things. So if you are using your Windows operating system to its maximum extent, then it will be very easy to crack this exam. It's not that difficult. Okay. So CompTIA IT fundamentals, CompTIA A+. You can even skip one of the certification and you can go to the next one if you are able to crack it. It's not an issue. Okay. So why I'm saying all this is I want you guys to start preparing your skill set to reach your goal. See, these are the different categories of professions that you can decide. If you start exploring all these basic coursework, you will come to know about yourself, in which area you are interested into, and you can develop those particular skill set so that you can achieve these goals very easily. Because I have seen many of my friends and other people who are co-working with me, they just finish their graduation, they say, I got this job, I took it up, I came. Some are happy and some will not be happy. The whole reason they are happy and not happy is some get adjusted to what they are doing. They like what they are doing. And some, they won't be having any idea, because the whole graduation part, all they learn is only C programming, C++, Java, database, web development, and they expect only those jobs. So if you are learning according to the syllabus of what Bangalore University teaching is, then you'll be learning only web applications, software development. Okay, many areas will not be covered. Like storage and data, you'll be learning basic database, that is SQL and how to handle. But it's a very vast, again, it's a in-depth career path if you have to choose it as your career. It's one complete profession. And there is something called IT management and strategy, hardware, services, and infrastructure. And today's the whole intention of this guest lecture is so that I can make you guys aware of how vast the IT industry is. And there are so many career paths, but what I have seen is many don't know these paths. Many are not aware of this. If you say them, do you want to be a cloud engineer, do you want to be a network engineer, they won't be having any idea what should I do to be a network engineer. All I have learned in my college days is what is networking, what is LAN, WAN, and all these basic things. LAN, WAN is nothing but local area network and wide area network, for your reference if you have not come across. Okay. Yes, where was I? I was taking this as an example. So if you want to be an information security engineer, then you need to have the basic skill set of these things: CompTIA IT fundamentals and CompTIA A+. Even if you don't want to do certification, it's fine. You can just go through the coursework. You can study as per your comfortability, and you can move on. Okay. And then after doing these things, this is where you start your career path to be an IT security manager or into information security. If you're working into networking in organization, and if you think of being an cybersecurity analyst, then the first path that you have chosen as your career path itself is wrong, because you'll never reach that goal. So it's very important to understand what should be your first job, and what to get that first job, what you should do and what skill set you should have. Okay, so once you have done these certifications for information security path, then next comes, you have so many opportunities. Like one is you can do CCNA. Okay, so we were on the path of being an information security here. Okay, so what to be there, what we decided, first we need to have certain skill set. Those skill set are mentioned in CompTIA IT fundamentals. You can go through their coursework. It's not a very complicated certification. So once you have those skill set, then you can choose to upgrade your skills by choosing any one of these. Are you able to see my screen? Let me
Yes, sir.
check.
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
Okay. So next is you have these many options. One is CCNA, Cisco Certified Network Associate, and CompTIA Security Plus, CompTIA Network Plus, Server Side, CCIA, CEH, CHFI. These are the number of certificates that are open to you after this level. Okay. So next, choose few among these what you are interested into. Once you choose, CCNA is into networking, and CompTIA Security Plus is basic security and other things, how to configure firewall and other related stuff. And Network Plus is how to configure network. It is partially in depth, not completely in depth as CCNA. And CompTIA Server Side, it basically gives you an idea on how server works, how to configure it and other things. CH is Certified Ethical Hacking. I'll not explain you much because I'll be boring you guys, because you'll not get it until you have some basic knowledge into IT. So let me put it in this way, that once you have certain skill set, next upgrade to some of these skill set. Okay, choose any of your topics, go through their syllabus and do those things. Once you are into that, and then you have gained certain level of experience in work. Okay, just randomly doing these certificates completely and you are expecting to reach here, no, you'll never reach here. You need an experience along with the certificate. Just certificates aren't enough to reach your goal. So once you're into that, this is where, once you do your intermediate certifications and coursework, then next is advanced level. So in advanced level, these all certificates are considered valid only if you have certain experience in your career, in your IT career. Okay. Even if you just randomly do one of these certificates, and if you apply as a fresher, you'll not land up in some good IT job. And also you'll find it difficult because you don't know how IT works, how internal infrastructure works. When I say infrastructure, it doesn't mean how the building is and other things, all the internet connection and all. When I say infrastructure, it means how they have configured their servers, their database servers, their application servers, and other portals and everything. How they have configured, that comes under infrastructure. So until and unless you don't understand how IT infrastructure is working, even after doing this certification, you will not be able to land up a good job. Then once you have at least 5 years of experience and you do these advanced certificates, then you will be leaping a very big role. Like if you are just working as an analyst, you can directly land up as a project manager. It's a very huge jump just by doing one certification among these. Then once you are into that, then this is an expert level certification, where once you do this, then IT companies will respect you at their highest. Okay, so once you're into this, then you have reached your goal. So this is how you are supposed to choose your path. So so far, if I have to take an example of software development, because you guys are familiar into software development, suppose take even web applications. So how to start your career if you want to be a very good web developer? Okay, so you need to have certain skill set to be a web developer. Again, web development is a vast, whatever the career path I'm showing here, it is not limited to only these certifications, guys. Let me tell you, because when it comes to web development, you are not just developing a website. There are many things that are put into website. One is the graphics. They have separate graphics engineer, guys. Okay, the one who makes all the images, fancy images, videos, and everything. So again, to get such knowledge, you can do ACA certification. It's nothing but Adobe Certified Associate. So you will be learning Adobe related products such as Adobe Photoshop, Adobe Premiere Pro, and other things. Even having those skill set can land you a very good job into a web and mobile development. Because without graphics, website cannot be built. You need a graphics. And if you are thinking what is there in those graphics, you can just Google an image and put it into your website. No, it doesn't work like that in when it comes to a IT world, because every image you put it in on your website, it needs certain permissions. They'll be having copyright rights and many other policies goes into it. Only then you can publish that image on your website. So it is not as easy as what you think it is as your school project or college project. Google and get some images and use. So you need a skill set. So even doing an Adobe Photoshop, and if you are interested, very much interested into doing editing and other things, you can get into a web application development, this thing, profession. So later, along with that, if you do certain certificates, again, see CompTIA fundamentals. It's nothing but no, sorry.
So that Adobe certification, is it only for photos or video editing as well?
No, this is a certification just to prove that you know the application. But to know the application, there is certain, again, different coursework you need to do, Adobe coursework. Okay, so these certifications basically, let me give you an overview of how the certification is. Okay, suppose you are doing a certification for networking certification. The questions will be like, there is a building where there are 10 computers in first floor and there are 20 more in the second floor and 10 more computers in different area of the same city. So how do you configure it? How do you make them communicate with each other? This will be a question when you get into a network certification exam. So it's up to you to understand what is networking, how to configure, and everything else is a separate coursework. Once you have done those coursework in certification, you will be just solving all the issues. Once you are able to solve all the issues, then you will be certified. So these IT certifications are like that. They are not like the one we do in our graduation or in our education system. Like you learn something and writing those same answers will not get you certification. You need to actually solve the real world problems. Only then you will be certified. So you asked me that whether the Adobe certification will be related to just video or photo editing. No, it won't be like that. Photo editing and video editing is separate course and certification will be a separate course. Okay.
So could you tell the answer for what you just asked? With the 20 computers in one floor.
Do you have networking basic knowledge like routers, how to configure routers, how to use the switch, how to get a private line from an ISP provider? Do you have knowledge on these things?
No.
Okay, so even if I explain, you'll not be getting it, but I'll try to simplify it and explain it to you. So suppose you have 10 computers in your first floor and 20 in your second and some other in different area. So basically what you do, if you are a big organization like Microsoft and other things, so the main thing is you cannot transfer your data on the network just randomly, like how we do in our regular life. So what they do is they approach an ISP provider. ISP provider is your internet service provider, and they ask for a leased line. They call it as a leased line. Means there's a dedicated line which is which Airtel owns, which they have their network all over India, and a portion of the bandwidth they will fix it and give it to your particular company. Once you get a particular lease line, then you will be configuring your network between two different areas and other things, that is using WAN protocols. Again, you need to know what is WAN, what are the different protocols in configuring WAN and other things. So once you know that, then you will understand how it can be done. Okay, so you just got a brief overview, right? How it's done?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay, so yes, that's how it's done. And yes, networking is again a very vast career path. If you choose networking, so basically in graduation, what you'll be learning is what are the different types of technologies in networking and computers communicate and other things. But as and when you go into a real world, it is not limited to just what you have learned in your graduation and other things. There are a lot many things that matter. Suppose just now I gave an example. How do you communicate between two different areas and two different floors and other things? You need to calculate even the minor things, like if you are using Cat5 cable, then your cost will differ. Your company's cost will depend upon it. Like it will cost you more. You need to think at that level, that basic level. Even whether you have to choose Cat5 cable or Cat5e cable, these are the two different types of cable that has different bandwidths and other things. And whether you need to go for an optic cable, though it is faster, whether you will be able to bear the cost and other things. So there will be, I'm saying you need to think at such minor level. So it is a very depth. I don't want to confuse you guys saying about those things. I don't want to go off the topic. I just want to give you a brief overview. When you choose your IT, first know your interest, like what you want to be, like whether you want to be an information security or a network engineer or a cloud engineer, hardware. Based on these things, if you have decided at your early stage, then you can start developing your skill set, referring to this one. And it is not just limited to this. These days you can Google, you'll get answers for each and everything. What are the basic skill set you need to get into this profession? So I want you guys to think in this manner. You want to do something, then where you have to start, then how you have to progress. Once you progress, then what are the other opportunities that are opening up to you? It is not just limited to that one particular thing. Okay. So this was the basic overview and how to choose your IT career path. So it's a very huge, it's not limited. Here I have told only about information, cloud technologies, hardware, IT management, storage, web, software training. Apart from this, even there is something called as gaming and even banking related and other technologies and stuff that comes. But these are the major things that you need to focus on, because these have the more what do you say, openings when you graduate or you are looking for a job. These are the basic things you come across usually, so that there is more opportunity, so you can decide what you want to get into. So okay, so let me close this one. Okay, we are back. So, okay, at least you guys got an idea how to choose a path, career path, how to make one, how to identify one. Huh? At least some idea you are getting.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay, so this was a brief overview of how to choose your career path and what is IT, I just wanted to give you an overview that IT doesn't mean just a software programming and other things. It's a very vast area, and you need to have the right skill set, right attitude, and everything. The reason I asked you whether you like to work with someone or you like to work as an independent is when you get into IT, there are two types. I told you, one is product based and one is service based. And most of the IT companies that are in India is service based companies. Basically, you are providing service to others. Okay, for even for banking sector, you are providing a service, and you are providing services for even the employees within the companies. Suppose there is a developer, but suppose he is a marketing engineer. He doesn't know how to use computer science, how to use his computer to complete extent. So what they do is they again call up their tech support within an organization for the services, and that's where you guys will come. If you have chosen computer science and IT as your career path, the basic thing you will be doing is providing the services for everyone, because you are the guy who knows computer. So you are the one who will be providing the services to the people who doesn't know the computers. Then the other sector is product based companies where they have their own products. So some of you said when I asked whether for examples of your service based and product based, some of you said right answers, some of you said wrong answers, but it's fine. So product is nothing but the things that you own. For example, of Windows 10, it's a product. So when you want to work into Microsoft, there are again two different categories, whether you want to get into a Microsoft service-based companies or product-based companies. So if you are a guy who likes to help others and listen to them and other things, then choose your service-based career path. If you want to work, just build apps and other things, then you can choose a product-based path where you will be concentrating more on your just application, how to build an application, how to test them and other things. You don't have to listen to anyone else or anything. You just have to listen to your team and you have to work as a team. So basically why I need to distinguish this is the basic entry-level job is desktop support job, guys. So I have seen many people, it's not very difficult to get a desktop support job after you complete your graduation. But people find it difficult because they don't like to call and help others each and every time, because you will have to listen to the same issues from every individual who is working in the company or who is working in some particular project. Everyone will call up for the same issues, and you should be willing to answer the same issue even if they have asked for 100 times. So to have that right attitude, you need to have that particular skill set to helping others. Only then you will enjoy that particular job, or else you will land up a job and you will hate it for your life. So I want you to understand that's the whole reason why I want to distinguish a service and product, and why we need to work as a team member. Because since IT company is vast, one individual person cannot handle everything. You need a support of a team member. You need to help him as well as yourself, and you need to take help from others also. So if you are a good team player, that's then you'll be able to stick into IT, or else there will be a lot of conflicts. There will be politics and other things that again makes your life miserable. So you need to be a very good team member. So all these skills are actually taught in our education system, but thing is we don't know where it will be useful. They don't tell us it will be useful at this part of time. And when they don't say this will be useful in future at this place, then you will not be showing interest into that particular thing. So yes, you need to work as a team member, and you need to have a right attitude. Like you need to keep upgrading your skills, because these days what IT companies are doing is they are doing a cross-platform development. Means today they have their services on Amazon web servers tomorrow Google comes up with a new technology, then what companies do is they just shift from Amazon to Google just to get some better advantages from the different services what they are providing. So at that particular point of time, they'll ask all of the employees to learn the new skill set. If you are learning it, upgrading it, then you'll be moving along with the company and you'll be growing with the company, or else they'll find another person to fit the place, and you guys will not be growing much. So don't expect that you have studied this one particular thing, then you don't have to do anything else, because IT just changes every year these days. It's not as stagnant as it was before. So you need to have that upgrading skills attitude. All these things matters only if you are going into an IT, because I have experience in IT, so I'm sharing with you guys. If you have your own businesses in the future you want to take care, then you don't have to worry about it much. So let me share you what are the top demanding jobs currently in the market. Okay, let me share the screen. Okay, I'll not take much of your time. I'm about to finish, don't worry. Okay. So guys, these are the topmost demanding jobs currently in 2021. So on the left side, what you are seeing, these are with respect to the requirements, current requirements of IT industry. And on the right side, what you are seeing is the highest paid jobs. Okay, let me go to the left table of contents. So the first on-demand job is this artificial intelligence specialist. Okay, so I'll give you a brief overview, like what skill set usually artificial intelligence look is. It's a basic programming languages like your C, C++, even up to a system level programming. System level programming is nothing but you will be using a language that system understands. It's not easily understandable by humans, but system understand it easily. That's a system level programming. So basically it's all the basic level programmings and Python and other things. These are the basic skill set that you need to enter into artificial intelligence and other things. And the next one is your information technology manager. For that you need to, for that you need to have an experience in IT. So you'll get skill set as you get an experience. The next one is software development engineer. Yes, again, you need to learn the top trending languages actually. See, today, 2 years or 3 years back, people used to say, learn Java. Java is the future and other things. Java is the future, but now people say Python. You need to learn Python. Then just it's not far away that the people will even say to learn Go language. Go is a language that is developed by Google, even that is in popularity. So I cannot just recommend learn this particular language, but all I can say is learn one programming language completely and thoroughly. Either take C, C++, Java, or anything. I would rather say learn Python. Once you learn one language in either in your free time or anything, learn one language completely, then rest other languages will be easy for you to learn. So that advice I can give you. And next is data scientist. Data scientist is again new thing in 2021, where people are highly paid for this particular job role, data scientist. Basically what they do is the they they want to segregate the data that the companies are being collected, and it's a very difficult process. Take an example of Microsoft database is so huge, almost anyone who is using computers in the all over the world, from every user, there is a certain kind of data that is being collected by the company. Imagine, so that huge amount of data, to segregate and get it into, to make it a quality data that can be used for any purpose, then they need certain people with certain skill set, and that's where data scientists come. So these people know how to work with those datas and how to get a value information through the collected data. So basically I'm just giving a brief overview. If I try to explain you in depth, then everything will goes above your head. I'm trying to make it as easy as possible so that you can get what it is. And the fifth one is your information security analyst. That's nothing but you will be checking whether the system is configured properly to meet all the security standards or not. And it's not limited to just your system, it will be an overall enterprise system. There are certain tools that will help you to do that. You don't have to worry much about it. So that is computer system analyst. And the next demanding job is computer network architect. So this is actually an advanced level job. Network architect is nothing but the one who plans how to manage all the network between different organization and how to make it work together. So that's the basic job of the network architect guy. And the next one is site reliability engineer. So site reliability engineer is nothing but, suppose your Facebook website, whether if it stops working, then you'll panic, right? So there will be someone who will be looking into that. This website stays up all the time and it's reliable no matter how many users log in or use it. So reliability engineer is also one of the top roles currently, to make sure that websites are reliable. I guess you know the word reliable. If you don't know, then what I just said, you will not understand it. I'm sorry for that. Then the next one is your product manager. So here again, now product, you can understand what is the product. So suppose Windows Media Player, you are working on that product, then you'll be manager for that, handling all the things, whether the player is able to play everything or not. I just gave an example that you're familiar with. Then next is DevOps engineer. This is a new thing that is recently come. DevOps engineer is from past 3 years. It's on the top. That is because the people who were developing the applications and everything, they were finding it difficult to even to manage the deploying part of it, because the developers don't know, they don't have the right skill set of cloud and other things. All the software and applications are deployed in the cloud. So they wanted a person who can manage and bridge this gap, the people who are developing and the people who are able to deploy it over the network and other things. So to make this process easy, DevOps engineer comes into place. So this guy handles the deployment part and the developers part. He'll be in the middle, he'll coordinate, and that's the reason how the updates are being posted for every application and other things over the internet. So DevOps engineer is one of the top roles currently. And on the right side, the most in-demand tech jobs for 2021, this is highly paid. So security professionals are highly paid, though they are at the first. Then next comes the cloud architect, and then the database administrator, programmer analyst, system analyst, mobile application developer, network administrator, software developer, and DevOps engineer. These are the top 10 highly paid jobs currently. So you guys can decide. This won't remain, and this changes each and every year, guys. So currently, these are the top paid and top demanded jobs in the industry. So what else? What else can I tell you? Okay. So I just gave you an overview of what IT industry is, what is services, what is products, and what skill set you need to have, what attitude you need to have to learn all the skill set. And I gave you a brief example of how to make your IT path, career path, if you want to become some professional into like software developer professional, storage and data professional. I gave you a brief overview. The whole reason of this guest lecture is so that you can understand what IT career is, how in depth the career is, and how to make your own path to achieve your goal, and how long the journey is. So I just gave you a brief overview of all those things. So now I would like to tell you how you can relate your syllabus subject to these things. Okay, so what this helps you is how this helps you is by getting an interest and getting an overview. Let me tell you, wait, I'm not able to put it in the words properly. So let's take an example of you guys have computer science as a subject, or
Yes, sir.
okay, what do you have like syllabus? Can you just tell the topics that is given in that
Yes.
introduction?
C++.
Sorry.
C++.
Okay, C++. You are doing PUC or 10th?
10th.
Okay, 10th you have C++. Great. Okay. C++ is a complete subject or it's a part of computer science subject?
It's actually we have computers. So in computers, the whole thing they're teaching is C++ from past 1 year.
Okay. So it's
But
just
in
the
the
C++ as
ICSE
a
syllabus,
subject.
it's Java for the past 3 years.
Okay, Java. Okay, cool. So from past 3 years you're learning, then you'll be an expert by now. No, no, you don't assume like that. If you have learned from 3 years, then it's not a small thing. It's actually a
They're
big
repeating
thing.
the same syllabus again and again, but with slight modification.
Yes, that's what I said. Because see, thing is, if they teach you everything after the first year of what you learned Java, if they teach something else in your second year, then there won't be anything left for your graduation, right? So see, that's what I'm saying. The education system is like that. Just see Java, OOPS, and everything if they teach, and they're not teaching Python actually. Python, if you can search top languages you require to achieve your skill set, then there are many different languages, but they are not being taught because education system is like that. They are thinking of each and every student, whether he stays in rural area or cities. So it's up to you with whom you are competing, whether you're competing with the other students just like you or you're competing in the market. So based on that, you need to start developing your skill set. That's the whole point why I shared you the career path and the things, so that you get an idea and start working on this rather than just depending upon your syllabus, because syllabus will just land you up with a desktop support job. But if you choose those one of the career among those career paths what I told, you will land up in a very good job and you will grow very fast. That's the whole intention, because these days you have every resources. You can just Google or go to YouTube. There will be one or the other freely available coursework. You can just do it. So get knowledge wherever you're getting, just get it. It will help you in a long term. So yes, you are studying only C++ and Java is one more answer I got in your coursework. Let me take an example of PUC syllabus. Okay, so in PUC, computer as a subject, because I need to know what all they are teaching so that you can relate those things. In PUC, they have something as typical computer for configuration as their first chapter. Second chapter is something like Boolean algebra, then data structure, OOPS, networking concepts. This is their coursework.
Class and object.
Sorry?
Class and objects.
Yes, class and objects and other things. Oh, class and objects comes under OOPS, I guess.
So this is only if you take computer science.
Only if you take computer science. Yes, the whole lecture is for the computer science and IT students who are taking this as your career path. If you are taking biology or if you are getting into something else, then you don't have to worry much, but you can have it as a knowledge so that you can pass it on to your brothers, sisters, or someone. So when people are talking, you will come to know, because you ask any as a fresher who has joined an IT company, if you ask him whether you are working in a service-based company or a product-based company, he'll be wondering what to answer. He will not be knowing that even basic differentiation. So that is main important. Uh, so yeah. So what I was saying is, in PUC, I have seen these topics as their coursework, that is typical computer configuration. It has a very simple and basic syllabus. Actually, it has just what is hardware, what are the types of motherboard, what are the types of software, and other things. As a general person, you may think as, okay, there is nothing important in this. It's just a hardware, just a hard disk, RAM, floppy, and other things. But no, you should not think in that way and study the coursework, because see, this hardware and software will help you in understanding in future when someone gives you a computer and they will ask you to run this particular program. Then first thing you need to think is whether this computer is able to run that particular application, whether it has right hardware requirements. Then you need to check whether it has the right software requirements, because certain software needs 32-bit operating system. Current operating systems are running on 64-bit operating system. So these are the basic things. This is how it will be useful. So the first chapter, when you learn typical computer configuration, hardware, software, and other things, you need to utilize these skills in this way in future. So these are not just random subjects or coursework, and you should not just leave it. Okay, this is very easy. Don't take it lightly, because as I showed you the career path, there is something called as hardware, services, and infrastructure as a complete professional path. So as and when you learn, it is not limited to just your systems. It will be about servers. What are the types of servers, their configuration, for everything. This basics will help for sure. And then you should not realize I should have learned this in PUC. Then you'll start Google, then you will get basic information updated. Then you'll solve your questions. So that should not be an approach. So I'm saying take a right approach. Don't take any one particular topic lightly. And the next topic was Boolean algebra. So you might think, what Boolean algebra is doing in computer science subject? How is it helpful for us? Suppose if you want to get into an hardware industry, okay, the basic knowledge they'll check is your Boolean algebra skills. So because many of you don't know that there is something hardware industry and hardware, whether you can get into it, you'll not be aware of this, the importance of this particular topic. Okay, guys, I'll not take much of your time. This is the last thing. I'm trying to correlate the subjects with the real IT world, where it is helpful and how it is helpful, so that you get interest in these subjects and learn it the right way. It's not just, don't study the subjects just for the sake of getting marks or anything. I'm putting this knowledge into IT career perspective, how it is useful over there. So Boolean algebra, I was saying, what is this math subject doing in computer science? What is this AND gate, OR gate, NOT gate? I don't know whether you have come across these certain basic gates terms. These are basically small ICs which perform zeros and ones operation. So when you get into an hardware industry, when you are working on building a RAM, you know RAM, right? You are using in your computer system, in your mobile, everywhere. So these RAMs, they use small registers, and these registers work on Boolean algebra. So you can understand the importance of this particular chapter, Boolean algebra. So if you are getting into such career, and if you know the basics of Boolean algebra, then you'll be better able to understand what's going on in your computer system. Then the next is your data structure, OOPS, Java. These all comes under programming. These I'm sure you'll be knowing how it works and how it is useful. Even if I don't say it's an important thing, you guys know it's important. So you will learn for sure. And the networking concepts, basically the PU syllabus has what types of cables like coaxial cable, fiber cable, twisted pair cable. It talks about those things. Don't learn it with an attitude that these are small things, we will never use these things. When you get into a network industry, you're if you are done CCNA and if you are giving an interview, the first questions will be these basics questions. What is optic fiber? What is Cat5 and other things? The whole reason they ask these basics question of PUC syllabus is to check whether you have basic understanding. So the difference between them, why we need to know this is, in IT, when you are implementing these things in your project, in networking project, you will be using different wires. You will be having option to use optical fiber wire. You will be having option to use Cat5, Cat5e cable and other things. So the interviewer will ask you, which cable do you use for just for one particular floor? So which is what you guys will do is, you guys will think which is the fastest and which is the latest technology, that is optical fiber. So you guys will say, I will use optic fiber, but straight away will be rejected from the interview, because you need to think in terms of the bandwidth that is required for that particular floor. So if there are only 10 computers, you don't need a cable that handles 1 gigabyte of transfer speed. For you, if the requirement is only 100 Mbps, then you need to think in terms of company expenses. So if company expenses can be reduced by using Cat5 cable or a coaxial cable, then you will go for the coaxial cable. Suppose if you are joining two computers which are like 10 kilometers apart and they are critical system, at that time you need to think whether you want to use a coaxial cable or a fiber optic cable. Coaxial cable will cost you more and it's not reliable, and the hardware is limited to certain kilometers only. After certain kilometers, the signals will get weak. During that time, you need to think what different type of cable you need to use. So basically I'm saying is, whatever the subjects they are teaching in PUC, they might seem very simple and not that complicated and not that important, but these are very important when you are actually working in the field. All these basic subjects is what will help you decide and implement. So don't take every subject don't read for the sake of passing marks. Like if there are 10 topics in one subject and reading 5 or 6 topics, if you are getting an 80 marks, then don't ignore the other 3 or 4 topics. Even they are as equally important if you are choosing that as a career in your future. So read it in a way you are getting a knowledge, not just for the getting marks or anything, because every topic is important. So yes, guys. So I gave you a brief overview, like what IT is, how you should correlate your subject to your IT paths and other things. So you get to know the importance of the subjects, topics, and whatever you're studying. So my intention was for today's topic is that understand an overview of an IT. So you get an idea what it is, how you should approach it, and how to take your decision. So if you have any questions, you can ask me if you have not understood any particular word or particular topic, and something you can ask. I understand you guys are in still 8th to 10th standard this thing. It's an early age, but yet I told you, IT, you don't need any particular graduation or anything to start your career. Even at 8th standard, you can start your career if you know what you're doing and if you have right skill set. So you don't have to wait till graduation. Graduation is just for the sake of companies so that they recognize you and give you an entry and give you an opportunity to work there. Even without that, if you know how to develop a web application, you can learn it in just 1 week, if I'm not wrong. Once you learn how to develop a web application, you can go to freelancing websites. You can put up your own service and you can take projects and you can deliver it them and you can start earning even now. So that's how the IT is. I hope you are now able to make an informed decision, being aware of various IT careers and its path. IT is not just limited to this, it's vast. As I said, again, there are different paths for gaming and other things, but these are the major things to concentrate on. And nonetheless, even if you don't choose your path, you can get into IT. But as I said, whether you'll be happy with your career or whether you know what you are doing, what you want to be, you will find it difficult later. So choose your path, make plans, what you want to do. Based on that, learn those skill set so that later stage, you won't be having problem in any of the coursework or anything. Once you have right skill set and you know what is the path to take, then it will be very easy. You will enjoy each and every day and you will grow very faster. So, okay guys, it's 6 o'clock. I'm ending my this thing, a presentation or a lecturer or guidance, whatever you want to call, because my intention was to just to make you aware of IT career and give an overview. It's not a lecturer or anything. So if you want to discuss, if you want to ask something, then you can ask me. I'll be happy to help you guys. Any questions?
Okay, so guys, if you have got any questions, you can ask.
Okay, Shraddha TR to me has asked, did your experience help you more or the thing you studied? Definitely my experience, Shraddha. See, I am in information security right now. What helped me was the coursework in Bangalore. I stay in Bangalore, so you might have heard about Roman Technologies. It's an institute. So basically, when I was in my 10th standard, I used to see the ads of hardware and networking. Okay, in those days, that was the trending thing, hardware and networking jobs, learn this course, that course. So what I did was I just went to the Roman Institute of Technology to take up an hardware and networking job coursework, and I studied. At that point of view, at that point of time, I realized the IT is vast than what we are studying. It's not limited to what we are getting what as an exposure from university side. It's very big. So once you get into such institutes, you will come across many professionals. There will be other students who are taking up course along with the work. You will hear their experiences, their course of work. You will get many ideas like what is that work do, how whether you are interested into that, and if you want to get into that, what you have to do. You can discuss everything. So when you get in touch with many people, you will explore more. So that's what I'm trying to say. You are not limited to any resources being in city, since you are able to take this guest lecturer over internet. I assume you have all the privileges to learn everything. So if you have 2 GB of data pack, don't spend it on your OTT just to watch TV series. Yes, you enjoy your life, watch TV series and everything. But along with that, make sure you even go through all the course materials and other things that are apart from your syllabus. This will get you more exposure, and you might find something interesting that you wanted to do, but you were not aware of, and you end up taking that. So that's how even I ended up. I was not exposed to this IT security course. Then later I came across, then I did my master's in this particular thing, and then I got into job, and I'm doing well now. So definitely my experience helped me more than the studies. But studies, I am not saying it's useless. That is a basic. Because I did my studies well, I was able to understand all the other experiences. If I had not done my studies well, then I would not experience the other things. Whatever someone says, then that would have gone above my head. So studies is as equal as important but experience is what gives you skill set to be in industry. So I answered your one question. Anyone else? You can ask me, guys. Don't think me as your sir or teacher, and you can ask me as a friend. You can call me with my name. I'm perfectly fine. So you can ask any small question. Don't think I'm I'm not expecting any big questions, or I'm not expecting any right questions also. You can ask every question and everything. Until and unless you don't ask, you will not grow. That is for sure. Okay. The day you start asking questions, even small questions like, sir, where are you? You can ask me, where am I? Am I in office or am I at my friend's place? You can ask. Even that question works. So what I'm trying to say is learn questioning people. Without questioning, you will never progress. So I'm not seeing any much of the screen. Okay.
So if you
Sir,
use that
could you
privilege,
send
no?
those
Who is
images?
that who's talking?
Sir, could you send those images?
Yeah, sure. I'll share with Vikas sir, and he'll be sending it as a mail or WhatsApp, whatever is comfortable. Okay. I'll share both the images.
Yeah, Ujjwal, you can go ahead.
Sir, I want to learn ethical hacking, sir. How can I build my courses, sir? I want to learn that course, sir.
Okay, Ujjwal. See, it's a good question. If you want to be an ethical hacker, first thing you need to know is computers. So have you understood your computer technology well? Like if you are using Microsoft, do you know the file structure of the operating system? Like how Windows stores its files? No, right?
No,
Okay,
sir.
so what you have to do is, Ujjwal, first you need to understand your operating system. Take one operating system at a time. Take Windows if you are comfortable, then take Linux. Linux is much more different than Windows, then Mac operating system. So take different operating system and learn its file structure, how it works and other things. File structures, you can make note down, like file structures of your operating systems and how it works, what are the functionalities of those operating system and other things. So see, once you are aware of these things, then if you go to an ethical hacking course, then it will benefit you. But without understanding these basic things about computer, if you go into ethical hacking, you may learn it as a subject, but you will not get the knowledge. You will learn as a subject, and it will be same like what you are learning in the guide and writing in exam. It will be like that. Don't be like that. Learn the operating system. Why I'm saying is, see, if you are hacking someone else's system, okay, ethical hacking means you will be doing it with the legal permission. There is a difference between hacker and ethical hacker. Hacker is the one who doesn't have permission, and ethical hacking is the one where you know the ethics. Ethical means you know the ethics, like you know what are the consequences and the legalities and other issues. So when you are hacking into any system, or you're finding any, you want to find a loophole in a system. So to understand the system is the first basic requirement. So when you know your file system of your system, file system is nothing but open your C drive. When you open your C drive, you see all those folders. They are in particular structure. That is programs, program files, x84, x64, x32. There will be different folders like Windows folder and other things. So this is how you need to understand why these folders are created and why they are created with this particular name and how it is working, how Windows is utilizing these folders. Once you know how Windows 10 is storing and accessing data from these folders, next what you will come to know is which are the crucial part of these folders. So then you need to get access to those folders. Okay, so then you will get access to those folders, then you will make the necessary changes, and then system listens to what you want to set to it. So that will be a successful hack for that particular system. So to hack a system, you will be doing all those things. And to hack, you need to know how the system works. And to know how system works, you need to study operating system and other coursework. Then once you understand operating system and its file structure and everything, in ethical hacking, you will be learning right tools to use to get your work done. So ethical hacking basically introduces you to different types of tools that can be used to hack in a certain way and get your work done ethically or unethically. Because you're into 8th to 10th, I would say if you learn any kind of hacking skills, just try it in your own system and don't do it for others, because Indian IT rules has changed. And remember, whatever you do, no matter how much anonymous you try to be over the internet, your logs, your MAC address will be logged. Okay, don't get into legal issues at the very young age, because once you cross 18 years of age, then government treat it as a crime. Okay, so even if you do to your friend, and if your friend is not a good friend, and if he approaches cybercrime department, then they can take a legal action on you. So the ethical way of doing is inform your friend or inform your someone and tell you are doing it, and you will be, after doing it, then you should also be able to make it revert it back. Okay, so if you do any changes, then make sure you give them their files back and that will be a right approach to learn. Okay, so don't try it without any guidance, but learn it with a responsible, because ethical hacking at initial stage, you will be exposed to many tools that can get you that can land you up in a very difficult situation and also can help you. So until it's helping you, you'll be loving it. But once it lands into a difficult situation, then you will regret it for life. So make meaningful decisions. Okay. Yes.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, no problem. Anyone else?
Guys, any more questions are appreciated. Okay, so let us restrict to the last question. Anyone?
Okay.
No questions. Are you sure, guys?
Okay. Thank you, guys. Thank you, Vikas.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Sir.
So, guys,
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
fine, guys. See, what I would like to conclude on today's guest lecture is that, see, Amit has given you a fair idea about how IT works and what you have to do in order to reach. And on top of that, how to check whether you are IT guy or not. What are the, like, if you are so much passionate about working for IT in the future coming days, I really like the way he has started the session with an example of what is product based and service based companies. So seriously, it was a good one. So the way he started, I really got to know, okay, that how the whole session will go on. And yes, it has reached above my expectation, and he has given you a lot of information, guys. But some students out here may think that it is out of my boundaries, it's completely out of my age boundary. So guys, knowing about computer, so what I feel out of all these is no matter which age group you are into, and no matter what is your passion of doing things, you may also become an accountant, you may become a what is that, you can enter into any field. It can be academic or non-academic. Knowing about computers, having the very minimum amount of knowledge about computer is very, very important now, no matter which field you're into. Correct. So if you have so much depth knowledge, so whatever Amit has told you just now, it takes very less time to learn all this, but with your great interest. If you are really so much interested about learning this, then definitely you have all the resources with you, and the whole world is in your hand. You can just Google and try and see how things are going on. And yes, when it comes to Amit, he has given me a promise that, okay, if you are interested, then he is always available with us by call or whatever. So he will meet you. He will make sure that all your questions are given with the proper answers as per his experience. Okay, but one valid question what Shraddha asked to him was the academics. That
Experience or
means
the-
the
yes.
subjects that you learned in your college will help you, or the experience. See guys, if you want to get into the environment, if you want to get into the industry, then the license is education. If you don't have the education, then yes, as Amit told you, at least you should have the certification to prove yourself that you know this, correct? Or you should have a proper degree so that someone will trust that, okay, you have done something and you have fair knowledge about, fair idea and knowledge about what computers are all about. And when it comes to getting into the industry, this is done. Once you get into the industry, the next thing, the next level is adopting to whatever they want, what is their requirement, what is their services, and what is your role on to providing that service, whatever it is. So learning in that industry also matters a lot. There also you go learning. Okay, one more question Amit started asking you was, are you restricting yourself to a particular field, or are you getting, like you're just thinking in the point of view of a job, or what? So yeah, I just, I don't remember that question 100%, but still some glimpse of it, it's there in my mind. It was a good question asked, and some 2-3 students also responded to that. See guys, see, this was a complete informative session, and please don't think this is out of your boundary, out of your limits. Okay, please learn about what computer is all about. Whether you land up becoming a computer science engineer, okay, or not, doesn't matter. Please learn about this subject. That will really, allow you to explore a lot about it. You will really get that interest of learning things, because today's trend is about IT. You know that most of the people work for IT. IT is not only computer science, or IT is not only restricted to sitting in front of computer and working for a company, as Amit told. So there are a lot many fields that IT is giving as a service. No, if the best example is the banking field, you go to banking sector. So where you don't find the services of IT, guys, you tell me. Most of the places, wherever you go, you can find it. Yes, so more than me speaking so much about it, it was very good to hear many things from Amit. Thank you so much, Amit. It was great having you with us, and thank you
Vikas.
for spending a valuable time. Yeah, Ujjwal, one sec. Okay, and one more privilege what Amit gave straight away is that you can ask me any question. Then if you give that privilege to my students, they'll not stop asking questions, and it'll be so funny. Okay. And see, just one example now right away. The live example was, see, we had given so much time for the questions to be asked, and when I speak, Ujjwal is so much curious about asking a question, and this is how it goes. So all our students are so random, they are not organized. So it's very, very important to be organized, guys. Once the opportunity is given to you, you have to kill that opportunity. Just make sure that you make 100% utilization of it. If you don't do, you will never get it back. So unfortunately, Ujjwal may not get the opportunity. So it all depends on me now. If I give the second chance, then he will get opportunity to speak, or else no, because the time was given to him where he didn't speak. At least he asked one question. Now he is curious about one more question. I don't know what. Whether he is asking tomorrow is a holiday or not, I don't know. Whether it is related to a computer science question or anything else, I don't know. Or he tells that, sir, I have a sight problem, which particular spectacle to use. I seriously don't know. Oh yeah, Ujjwal, what is your question?
Sir, what is basically IT, sir? What will be learning in IT? If we take IT, sir, what will be learning, sir?
Okay, Ujjwal. See, the basic first thing you'll be learning is what is your computer? What makes a computer? Like what motherboard, the network, and different types of motherboards, different types of network, the ports that are being used, everything. It starts with these basic things. Okay, so when you say IT, it starts with all these things. Then the entry level comes to manage these things. Like now you have understood already what are these basic things, what is a computer network, and what are the softwares, what are the applications, what are the other services running in your computer and everything. Once you know that, then the first thing you'll be learning in IT is how to troubleshoot those things. Like if there is any issue with any of these things, like there is a port issue or any software is not working, or if you take in terms of an companies, particular employee will not be able to install certain software because of not having certain privileges. You'll be learning about privileges. What are the different types of users in computers, admin users and other things. So these are the basic things you start when you start learning about IT. So the desktop support job is an entry-level job. So if you want to know what are the right skills required for an entry-level job, you can always go to the job website. Though you are not eligible, you just create an account and daily search for the jobs. Okay, search like for if you are interested into software development, so type software development for freshers. Just type this and see what are the company's expectations. So you'll get to know a lot of expectations, and you'll get to know what are the different companies working on different technologies also. You can make note of, suppose you want to get into Microsoft, and Microsoft, you search for that particular thing, fresher jobs in Microsoft as a software developer. So what skill set they're looking for, then you can learn those skill set in your initial stage. So you can make shortlist of those skills for the Microsoft. So once you are perfect, once you get complete your graduation, you can straight away approach Microsoft and you can say you have all the right skills. So you can say, oh, that thing, if you start right now, because their expectations will be high. If you start at an early stage, then you'll reach that stage. By the time you finish your graduation, definitely you can get a Microsoft job. Though your college is not a tier 1 college, still you will land up in Microsoft job if you have right skills. Okay, so start visiting websites and other things. You'll come to know what you learn in IT. So see, you asked me a very generic question, what you'll learn in an IT. So I told you about computers, basics and everything. So you'll start with this, but you should not limit yourself what you learn as a basic things. You need to think in terms of what as a fresher level you are going to enter. When you are entering as a fresher, then what skills you need to meet. Once you know those skills, and for those skills what you need to learn is what becomes your criteria for what you'll be learning in IT. You don't let the subject define what you'll be learning in IT. You should let your interest define what you need to learn in IT. Okay. Yes.
Okay, sir.
Okay. Fine, guys. So let us not repeat the question now, asking you, do you have any questions, guys? We are open always. That means you can just contact me so that I'll put you across Amit, so that you can, he can definitely help you with any of your concerns that you have related to IT. Okay. So yes, guys, thank you so much for joining us. Yeah. Once again, thanks, Amit, for spending your time and sharing all your valuable thoughts onto and experience onto the IT industry. And I would also like to thank all students for joining us today. Hope it was informative and hope the information given from the speaker was useful to you. And also I would like to thank all my teachers who have joined for the session. Thank you so much, guys. See you all then. Cheers. Bye-bye.
Thank you, guys. Bye. Take care.
Thank you.